Johnny boy, you just all over my comment section talking about your Yale and Harvard graduate people who know all about the DNA and it originates in Africa. We're going to go ahead and get into that then, since your little fancy friends got their little degree in BS, which is piled higher and deeper the more education you get in the miseducation system of the colonizers. You mean to tell me you weren't paying attention when Miss Lauryn Hill back in the late 1990s was telling all of us that it's a miseducation system that we are under? Every last one of us have been miseducated and indoctrinated. In the schools and universities, you are taught by the colonizers who have handed all of us a false version of history. And several of your other comments, you said everybody is from Africa. We all come from Africa. And in this comment, you're saying that the E1B1A DNA haplogroup originates in Africa. And from there, everybody went out into the world and they spread that DNA. But I'm here to show you that's completely false. The L DNA haplogroup is passed down from the woman to her child and children. And this is the DNA that most of the indigenous women of the Americas actually have, which is the mitochondrial DNA, the mother of everyone. That's why it's called mitochondrial Eve DNA. Women who look like me are the only ones that carry the Eve gene. So first and foremost, they're saying that this haplogroup is a majority of all women carry. Only so-called black women carry the Eve gene. And they're saying the most common maternal haplogroup found in the U.S. are generally associated with European ancestry. Why is that? Stating that the mitochondrial Eve DNA is associated with European ancestry is quite misleading, because when most people think of Europeans, they think of Caucasoids, Anglo-Saxons, white people. And considering the fact that we are actually the original people of the earth, they are a genetic mutation. The early Europeans were actually dark-skinned, pigmented individuals, okay? The first farmers in Europe, they carried the phenotype of dark-skinned people. So that needs to be clear. But that said, this is what the early Europeans looked like. They were actually the royals in Europe. Yes. They were the royal line of Europe before we were conquered, before the white-skinned people took over. We are the ones that sat on the throne. We are the MWRS that ruled Europe. And a lot of that population is in the Americas, which are the copper-colored indigenous people. So we've already established that the L-DNA haplogroup type originates in the Americas, where all of the food crops originated from. Some of you men are not going to be happy with this information, but this is the truth channel. Now, keep in mind, we have all been indoctrinated. And that whole story in the book of Genesis, where it talks about the woman comes from the rib, the man was created first. Well, science actually says something completely different. We know that the human Y chromosome defines male, the male sex, right? Well, it actually evolved from the X, which is the woman, the double X. Just as pale skin is a genetic mutation from the original, so are males. They are a genetic differentiation from the original, which is the double XX female chromosome. If you drop down here, it says the Y degeneration. The Y chromosome is a mutated or degraded version of an ancestral chromosome that eventually stopped pairing with the X. With that being said, if L originated in the Americas, then surely the men who mutated from those female Ls originated in America as well. We already know that all the food crops originated in the Americas, South America to be exact. So obviously people were in America first, and from there they spread out. Let's revisit your comment again, Johnny. You said there's 85% of them, which really it's more like 60 to 85% our men that have that E1B1A DNA haplogroup. And as I've said in previous videos, the people in modern day Egypt, they don't even have 1 ounce or 1 milliliter of this DNA at all. Which also proves that ancient Kemet, or Egypt as people call it, is actually based in America, just like the DNA. You're saying that the E1B1A DNA haplogroup type is a West African haplogroup. What you fail to realize is that the people that are in West Africa today actually came from America. They came from South America. I showed you the food crops. They took those food crops with them in Christopher Columbus's transatlantic slave trade. The only time Google tells the truth about the transatlantic slave trade, when they are celebrating Christopher Columbus Day. This is where I got this screenshot, and clearly they told the truth about the transatlantic slave trade beginning in the Americas. Okay. So from there, people from the Americas were taken throughout the world and also into modern day Africa, which is why pretty much everything that they eat originated in America. They took it with them. They went there to modern day Africa. As you can clearly see here, they spread out through the Western and Central Africa. From there was a Bantu expansion. And these are the groups of people circled down here on the bottom that went there. The Akan people, the Igbos, the Yoruba, all these people groups who fill up West Africa today, all the way up to Burkina Faso. Those people came from America, my dear. This is why they have the E1B1A DNA haplogroup type. Why is there so much genetic diversity in modern day Africa today? Is it because that's the motherland and that's where everybody came from and then went everywhere throughout the earth? No, it's because they've been dumping people in modern day Africa from everywhere. This is why that genetic diversity exists in modern day Africa. Thanks to the American Colonization Society, also the Negro Improvement Association, they helped dump our people that were in America in modern day Africa. Everyone knows that Liberia, this is the Liberian flag. Does it not look like the American flag? Hello. Well, these people came from the Americas, not just the US, but they also came from the Caribbean as well. And they went to modern day Africa. It's called the Lone Star flag. Texas, the Lone Star State. Everything is copied. They pretty much recreated everything that's in America in modern day Africa today. This is how most of the West African countries came about. They were made up of people from the Americas. This is why they have the E1B1A DNA haplogroup that originates in the Americas. Here's another place that people from the Americas, the Caribbean, including people from Europe. Keep in mind, earlier I stated how the people that ruled in Europe, they were conquered. They look like us. And when they were conquered, they had to go somewhere. They sent them to modern day Africa as well. That's how Sierra Leone came about. People from North and South America and Central America also went to Sierra Leone. This contributes to the genetic diversity that's in modern day Africa today. I'll get out the way so you can take a look at that and screenshot it if you need to. Let's not forget about the people of Angola. They actually come from the Americas as well. This should tell you that we are not Africans and that the E1B1A DNA strain does not come from modern day Africa. A comes before B. Our DNA is older. It originated in the Americas. Johnny, I really hope that you learned something, and all to whom it may concern, I hope that this was knowledgeable for you. Give me a like, share, subscribe, make some comments, let me know what you think about it, and go on ahead and subscribe to me on YouTube. Brutally Honest History Lover. See you in the next video.